This is what I'm working on today. Two chunky, I call them chunky night bedside tables. They don't have to be bedside tables. You definitely can use them as a side table. It's funny because you would think that they're a matching set, but you can tell that the hue of the color is off. This one is a little bit redder, and then this one is more of the brown walnutty color. We got some scratches going on here. Bought these at auction, bought them separately. This one was $10 and this one was $2. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity to paint these over and give them new life. I have a lot of drawers, so we're definitely going to be changing out this outdated hardware. There's definitely some dust builds up, especially in that second one. So I'm just going to take my air compressor. I do not want to have to keep bending over to work on these, and then if I put these on my work table, they're going to be too tall. So these little Black & Decker workforce tables come in so handy. If you ever see one come up at a yard sale or auction, whew, nice. They have been well loved in our shop. I'm probably going to do a light cleaning on these before scuff sanding them, because there was a lot of dust on these. So it's just some Dawn dish soap and some hot water in a bucket. It's off to the side, you can't see it. It's nice to have it on because you kind of like a lazy Susan for a piece of furniture, right? So I feel like it's been a while since I've made over a piece of furniture. I feel like I can move it around now. With the carts is definitely going to help. Hi, if you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you're on Ginger Chick Rehab, where I love to take pre-loved secondhand finds and share the process with you all of what I would do to these items to give them new life, get a makeover, and to be loved again. So I have a pair of nightstands or side tables, whichever way you look at it. They are nice and chunky, well made, just outdated. The color's outdated, the hardware is outdated. So we are going to be making them over, giving them new hardware, and giving them a new paint color. Well, maybe a couple paint colors. I'm going to remove the hardware. Hopefully I can do it with a drill because that makes it so much easier. Yay. You can't always. Some gunk that's been spilled in here. I'm not going to be using the original hardware with these. I'm going to fill in the holes, but I'm going to cover up the back with some masking tape just in case my filler decides that it wants to go all the way through the hole. Just a precaution. I'm just going to be using some Bondo. I couldn't find the wood filler one. This will work the same. This is like an automotive, got it at the automotive, but it's all purpose. So that's good. So might as well use the putty that is on the lid. The color doesn't matter because we're going to be filling or painting over it. So Mondo's a two-part, so you have the putty, and then you have a hardener. So you just do a little squirt, and then you start mixing it up. And then we're going to start filling in the holes. So I kind of like to push it in there, making sure that's where that tape comes in handy, so I can make sure I'm filling that whole hole up. So I'm going to start scuff sanding it. It's super shiny. Okay, I've been letting this sit. It's been probably 20 minutes. So time to get it sanded. The longer you leave it on, the harder it is to sand off. This is always a personal preference. I know that I can be a messy painter, so I'm just going to tape off my edges. So I don't have to worry about trying to go steady along these lines, and I can keep them crisp with some tape. I just use the Duck brand masking tape. I can order it from Amazon, like in a pack of 24 or 12, depending on what's on sale when I'm ordering it. And I find that it gives me a good crisp line. I have a lot of texture going on with my Bondo. So I am going to seal this in with a couple coats of shellac. So I decided that I want to have some fun with the colors on this. Not like crazy or anything like that, but since I have a few of the DIY paints, and I personally, when I ordered the Bohemian Blue, I had this set in mind that I wanted to make over. So for my drawers, just the drawers, I'm going to be doing the Bohemian Blue on them. So I'm new to using the DIY paint, and I had a few comments that said something about you need to pour it out into another bowl, don't contaminate the jar, which I was a little on the fence about that. To pour something out and then dump out the rest seems a little wasteful to me. So I popped onto Jamie Ray Vintage, which I know she and Zeb do a lot of DIY paints, and I watched her just doing right out of the container. So I'm like, okay, she's doing out of the container, I'm going to do out of the container. If it bites me in the booty, then it bites me in the booty, but yeah, I don't like to waste product because it's not, you know, cheap or anything. I can't see making a product that you have to dump out what you don't use because you contaminated it. So I don't know. That was just a few of the comments, and you know, things probably happen for them. And like I said, if it bites me in the booty, it bites me in the booty. But oh, look at that blue. It is. There we go. Oh. Trying to keep the drawers in order because you know how that goes sometimes, that you know, the one drawer fits the one hole, and then I have two different little side tables here that could be, you know, they have the same type of the same drawers because they're basically a matching set, just two different woods, or hue of woods anyway. Okay, I'll get the other four painted up. So I find it interesting as it's drying what color it's going to change into. So it looks really deep and rich, like really dark, but as it's drying, it's lightening up. I don't care either way. I wanted the drawers to be blue. So it may be hard for people to envision, but the body of the table, I'm doing white swan, yes. So I'll pop on the picture. I saw inspiration from a little chest of drawers, a primitive chest of drawers that I saw, and I'm like, oh, I want to do something similar, especially since these had 3 drawers, that it inspired me to do this. And the Staalmeester brushes from the Painted Heirloom fit into this perfectly. I did order one of Debbie, one of her brushes, but it looks like it fits more into the quart size. So this has some dental work molding on it. I was considering taking it off, but I decided just to leave it alone because I think it's character. Because not only would you have to take the dental molding off, but you have to take that molding, and you might create a hot mess. Sometimes those little spaces to get in there, you got to get a littler brush. I tried, but I'm like, it's not getting the top of that. Coat number 1 is dry, and you can see that I've got a lot of wood showing through. Just doesn't look like it's been painted properly. So time for coat number 2. And that first coat always just attracts that second coat so well. I love the color it's drying to, and of course it's going to change once I finish it off. Okay, time for the second coat. You can see the areas I missed with the first coat. Get all that little dental work. So as I go into my third coat of white, because you can see some of the areas aren't covered, I just feel like when I'm putting it on that it's taking it off. So if I spray water on it, I don't know if that's what causes to contaminate. It probably does, but I have to do something because I just feel like I just keep taking it off. So give me all the hints, you DIYers, DIY users. Because without the water, I feel like all I'm doing is taking it off. Which is just making it too thick. And I know white is white, you know. Always takes multiple colors, and I always have to start off with the hard one. So I know you can wet distress this, but I'm curious to see how this sands to get out any of the brush strokes. So, and to distress it a little bit. Apparently it sands super easy. So I didn't want to get the power sander out because I wasn't quite sure how it would react to being sanded. Oops. Oh my goodness. Dust it off a little bit. So I just dipped a rag in water. I know it seems silly to put all those coats on just to take them off, doesn't it? I'm just going to let it dry and see what it dries into. Okay, I'm going to sand this one. That's going to give it that smooth. I'm sure the wet distressing would too. So it's definitely very easy to sand. Messy, of course, but just makes me feel better trying to get some of those brush strokes out. That's one thing I love about the dental work is how it distresses. It's gonna make a lot of powder. So even though I sanded, I still am going to wet distress just to try to get as smooth as I possibly can. Not going to hurt anything. I don't necessarily ever thought chalk paint was terribly smooth to begin with, but this is a clay, not a chalk. Just a personal preference. Honestly, I've never watched anybody use DIY paint other than like a few seconds. I watched Jamie Ray just do it from start to finish. So I'm a trial by error kind of person, learn as you go, and then figure it out. I don't mind. It's just paint. It can always be repainted. So keeping with the DIY products, I'm using the dark wax on top of here. You can see how uneven the paint looks right now. So that should tie it all together. Oh, it does make it dark. Woo. Maybe I want to add some clear. Maybe I should have done a tester. Oh, did it 2 seconds to put some clear on? Trial and error, baby. Trial and error. Which will probably end up taking more of the paint off, right? I'm committed now. We'll just have to see how it dries. What I did to one, I got to do to the other, though. It's all about experimenting and having fun. Well, we'll just let it dry and see what it turns into. So it's toning back down as it dries. So it's got that old age look that I was going for, which is not everybody's taste. I know that, y'all. But it sells really well, the old beat up primitive looking stuff. So I do not want to change my color of white. So I'm going to be using some Big Top to seal it in. And then maybe a wax on top of that. I said to apply with a fine bristle brush, which this is one of Debbie's brushes. Much problem with like it mixing with the top coat. I'm sure this top coat is made to go with it. Oh, the bristle. It's the first time I used the brush. So I did 2 coats of Big Top on here. Now I'm going to go in with the clear wax because I would like to give it a little bit of age to match the hardware that I want to use. So just to play it safe. And if you know me, I'm one of those people that likes the soft to the touch kind of thing. So I'm still looking for that. But it's definitely fun to play. I'm going to try some of the dark wax just to give it a little age. I've got Big Top on there. I've got clear on there. You know me, I'm just gonna go for it. And then we'll see what happens. I know it always looks scary, doesn't it? So then I'm going to take some more of that clear wax and buff it in. Like I said, I never intended this to look like a freshly painted piece. I wanted it to look old, that it's been around. Kind of like the picture. It's a great workout, waxing and painting, sanding. Definitely a great workout. For the hardware, I'm hoping that I have 6 of these that I bought secondhand. So we're so far 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, yes. So I guess now I'll just look at them to see which ones I like, because I do see some more in there. So I get to pick. I've used all the knobs that I had from this bag that I had purchased, actually at a Goodwill. So I have 5 that are just chippy white. And then the 6 of them that have a lot more of the brash showing. That's not too bad. So I'll take those, put these back in, and then I think we're going to use these. Let's hope so. Chris is going to be doing the hardware. He is such a master when it comes to putting hardware on. So he uses a Kreg hardware jig, and the first one is a little bit tricky because you just have to get your measurements where you're needed to center this. As you see, the hardware is a little bit on the wonky side, just the way that where the 2 holes would get screwed in, and then you have the bar. But once you get the one set, then the other 5 are going to be so easy. Oh yeah, so what do we do now? So that's interesting. Not used to that happening when we're putting hardware on.
I mean, and this is plastic. This was drawn with a pencil on tape.
So yeah, so that's this is 2 days later, because I painted these on Friday, finished them on a Friday, and this is Sunday. And I know it said that this wax had to be 2 weeks. So I just have to see if I can touch that up. So
yeah, even the tape pulled off the paint.
Oh, it did pull off the paint. So so maybe I do, after I wax them, do I have to seal it in with the big top? Because I'm used to using wax as a finisher. I mean, I still can do that, but yeah, so now I got to see if I can get that to be pretty again. So we can see what's going on here. I mean, you're not going to put a towel down to, so let's see if I can get this to blend in. I just have some of the clear wax that I'm using. So I'm probably going to have to go back in and seal this in with top coat, because you can see I've already done the other 6. And so yeah, let me know what I'm doing wrong, y'all that use DIY. mean, because how long? You don't wait 2 weeks to put hardware. I'll never get projects done if I have to do that. So yeah, I'll probably let this dry and then I'll put the top coat over top of the wax. I think it buffed out. We'll see once that, because it darkens back up, and then once it, I think that made Chris really super nervous. He doesn't want to work, a piece I spent all day working on. But I love the patina and the color that's going on there. So I'm using some of the big top, and as you see, it's like no, I don't want to be over the wax. It's not adhering by any means. I'm learning the product, y'all. So I'm just gonna take a lint-free rag, very gingerly. Some top coat's better than no top coat. Traditional way of doing it? Probably not. Improvise. Okay, as I said, I am a trial and error type of person, the way that I learn. So I just dive in head first, try out a product. That's the thing with different paints. You have to use them all differently. You have to finish them off all differently. So DIY, I'm just going to have to learn the ways that I need to do it. And you know what? The best thing I have in the world is a viewing audience that, for those who are already using DIY, they've already went through the trial and error of learning the product, and they will share down in the comments. So yes, I can do a little bit of researching. So I'm thinking, my brain's thinking that DIY paint, the big top coat, then wax. Is that my right thinking there? Because as you saw when Chris was doing the drawers and the holes for me, that the wax wasn't strong enough as a top coat. You definitely have to have some type of top coat. It was going all the way down. So I definitely need to seal the paint in. I love the finished look. I mean, it did kind of work. I couldn't just brush on the top coat on top of the wax. I kind of just took a lint-free cloth. Is it the traditional way? No, probably not. It's one of those don't do as I do kind of things. We all are trying to fix. We've already spent a lot of time painting that item, so we're all trying to fix what we can to salvage the project. So, but as I said, I love the look. This is not a look that I've ever done before, so I hope it's a good seller. And I love the hardware. And then the hardware, so I had the inspiration picture, and then I had the hardware as inspiration, and so making it all tie together, I just absolutely love these. No, these do not have to be bedside tables. They can definitely be out in your living room, your sitting area, wherever you want to put them. So give me a quick comment down below. How do you learn? Are you a trial and error, or do you do all the research first and don't dive in head first like I do. So thanks again for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this content for the first time, I hope you enjoyed learning it right along with me. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.